Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio.
Welcome, dear friends, to Kardec Radio, and we are here for our daily prayer program. How important, friends, these moments that we can be together to pray with one another, to help at a time that our whole planet it is in much need of prayer. We have been now over a year through this pandemic, and there are many who are still suffering. Many have discarnated, many are sick as we speak, many are still suffering from the consequences because they lost their jobs or their family dynamics change. Many parents had to adapt for children to be at home studying and going through school virtually. So many changes in our life. The pandemic really came and shook us up to really look at things through a different lenses, to ask ourselves the hard questions, questions that we might have not had the opportunity, or we, because of the distractions of the world, have not asked ourselves. Why are we here? What is the purpose of our lives? What can we do to change? How can I strengthen my faith? We hope the pandemic has brought these questions to all of us because, as the mentors of Kardec Radio and the Spirit Society of Virginia keep reminding us, this pandemic is literally knocking in our doors. For those who say that no, my life has not changed at all, well, it is time for us to really think about and reflect, because there is a reason why the pandemic is here. It doesn't choose who it affects all of us, regardless of where we live, our social classes, our culture, our beliefs. So, friends, how can we strengthen ourselves, strengthen our faith when we are called to really have this strength in ourselves, trusting that God is watching over us? If this is happening, it is not a punishment. We're not being punished, but it's a lesson. So if it's a lesson, what do we need to learn? So how can we do this? Prayer. Prayer is a tool that we have at hand. It is free. We're not asked for anything, right? We don't need to, we don't require any special clothing or a special place, or for many lives we thought that we need to pray, we need to ask someone to pray in our behalf. So it's spiritism come and show to us that there's no requirements. All we need is an open heart and a heartfelt prayer. It goes up to the highest realms. So welcome in all the friends who are here. Thank you so much for joining us. What we will do is start with an initial prayer. We're going to read a message, and then we're going to close out with our final prayer. We invite you to gather a glass of water, a bottle of water, put that right next to you, and then throughout this session, the Spirit's guide and mentors, they will be able to deliver the remedy that we need. And then afterwards, we can drink the water, we can give to our family members, to our pets, to our plants, so the whole family can really receive this treatment together. So, with that, we invite you to our initial prayer. Let us close our eyes. And let us take a deep breath in and out. And let us raise our thoughts to the Creator of our lives. Dear loving God, there's so much that we don't understand, Father. And we have many questions. We are at a time in our lives that we are asked to look at this reincarnation differently. But because of the blessing of Spiritism, we are able to look at the challenges in our lives through a different lenses. And we are so grateful for this promised consoler that Jesus promised us, that comes to really nourish our souls and make sure that we're strong. We ask that today we can use these moments as true treatments for ourselves, our family members, and loved ones, whenever they are in both realms. We also pray, dear Father, for our brothers and sisters who are at this moment in hospitals, in clinics, shelters, nursing homes, those who are in the process of discarnating. We pray that they can feel your embrace, your loving care, because none of us are forsaken. We also pray, dear Father, for the caretakers, the doctors, nurses, administrators, the family member, loved ones who are taking care of those who are suffering. We pray that they can find in you the consolation that they need and the strength to keep moving forward so that they can renew themselves and start anew one more day. We also pray, Father, for the children of the world, especially those who lack the basic needs, those who are in refugee camps, separated from their families and loved ones, those who are suffering all types of abuses. We pray for the next generation that we can be good role models, guides for the next generation of our planet. As we march towards regeneration, we pray that we can light the pathway to you with much gratitude in our hearts, Father, for being here at this moment. We ask your permission to open this daily prayer of today, and so be it. So, friends, today we're going to read a message from this book, Living Spring. If you have it at home, you can read and follow along with us. We're going to read message number 131. It is titled, In the Social Arena. And then Emmanuel starts by quoting Mark in 6:37, saying, "But he said to them, you give them something to eat." Faced with the very hungry multitude, Jesus told his disciples, "You give them something to eat." The master remark is very important because he could have told them to scold the crowd for being prudent, for having made such an exhaustive trip to the mount without bringing something to eat. But the Master wanted to engrave on his disciples' minds their dedication to serving people. He taught that, in view of the needy crowd, servants of the gospel have only one duty: rendering disinterested and fraternal assistance. At the time of that unforgettable teaching, hunger was something natural for the weary body, but as usual, we see the multitude lacking assistance, dominated by hunger for light and harmony, and flogged by the invisible lashes of discord and incomprehension. Jesus' co-workers are not called to sadden the people with pessimism, disturb them with disorder, or to immobilize them with discouragement. Instead, they are called to feed them with enlightenment and peace, moral strength, and sublime hope. If you find yourself around people who you want to help, and if you want to contribute to the regeneration of the social arena, then do not waste your time on preaching rebelliousness and despair. Maintain your peace of mind and feed your neighbor with a good example in your good words. Remember the Lord's order: give them something to eat. Wow, what a message, right, friends? In the social arena, at a time right now that we might we are probably at our homes still social isolating, although in the United States we know that the country is slowly marching towards reopen. We are at a time where we were asked to be at home, but it still has social, we're social beings, right? We depend on in this interaction with one another. And it's so interesting because nowadays, different from the time of Jesus, we have access to so many resources. We're here together, connected through social media. And social media nowadays is such a big platform where we have these interactions through Facebook, through our connections, right? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, so many different platforms. We also have access to information, right? In so much of a quicker way that we had in the past. In really literally the touch of a button, we can know what's happening across the world, turning the TV, listening to the radio. So we are even more interconnected. So, how should we behave as we live in this social arena, as Emmanuel called the social world that we are nowadays, this globalized world where we are all connected so quickly? We can make a phone call with our phones and we can connect with someone who is across the oceans in different continents, in different time zones, right? So, what is Emmanuel bringing to us? First, he says that we, as servants of the gospel, we have only one duty. So that's it. It's easy, friends. Well, it's easier said than done, but he says one duty: rendering disinterested and fraternal assistance. Yes, we need to assist. Oh, but Daisy, I just want to post on social media. It's my account. I post what I like, what I think is right. Well, he's saying it's our duty to render disinterested and fraternal assistance. So, do we ask ourselves before we send a message, before we post something on social media, before we upload a video online? Are we rendering fraternal assistance? Is someone benefiting from what I'm putting out there? That is a good thermometer for our friends. This morning was hearing in a podcast by scholars in spiritism, and they were reminding us exactly that the power that we have. Remember, André Luiz explains to us in his books that we have constructive or destructive mental currents. There's nothing in between, there's nothing neutral. So, anytime that we use our social networks, and I know we're focusing here talking so much about social medias because right now is so timely, but even when we speak with someone, when we talk to someone, that's what Jesus is reminding us is our duty. Are we being constructive? Are we helping them? Or are we making destructive connections through our comments, through our posts, through what we are putting out there in the world? And that is something else because he used these words and they're very important: disinterested and fraternally. Disinterested, friends, without an agenda behind it. Because a lot of people nowadays they think, oh, I am gonna do X, Y, and Z, and I'm gonna help and I'm gonna do this. But there's a but because they have a hidden agenda. They're waiting for that promotion, for that recognition, for that award, or for praise. So, is that really disinterested if we want to be praised, if we're waiting for people to go there and applaud us and pat us in the back? So, it is an opportunity Emmanuel is bringing to us for us to reflect. As we interact with one another, are we helping disinterestedly or are we in our heads making the math? I'm going to do X, Y, and Z because in so many months or in so many years, I will be here or I'll be there or this going to happen. Oh, I'm going to contact or be friends with that person because they know that X person and oh, they can put me in touch with them. So Jesus is through this message in this opportunity that we had with the disciples to show to us that we need always to ask ourselves because it doesn't matter where we are, friends, we have a we are in a position of power, whatever we are, because we might think, oh, yes, maybe President Obama, he has a lot of influence because he he's wild, worldwide. He's no worldwide. No, friends, we all have those who influence, those who are looking up to us. It might be in our families, it might be at our workplaces, it might be in our spiritual centers, in our community, right? We all have those who are there keeping an eye. So, what are we doing, especially with our social media? So, he continues and says here, that Jesus co-workers, so all of us, right? We are Jesus co-workers. We are not called to sadden the people with pessimism. So no pessimism, no, just we are not asked to disturb them with disorder or immobilize them with discouragement. Okay, pessimism, disorder, and discouragement. So, are we putting a positive word about something when we see a post and people are going on and on and on and bringing maybe it's a situation or something else, or we have the opportunity to be the one to bring a light of encouragement, of looking at the bright side. Emmanuel, in another book, Thought in Life, he says, and he reminds us, let us seek the good, let us feel the good, let us visualize the good, and let us mold the good with all the resources that we have. So, are we really seeking the good, or we are spreading pessimism and discouragement, disorder towards others through our words, our actions? It's a lot of for us to think about, right? So instead, what we are called for enlightenment and peace, moral strength and sublime hope. Be a peacemaker. That was Jesus' words, right? Yes, we need to be peacemaker, friends, because we see that those who generate discord, those who incite all types of violence, sometimes it might not be physically, but the verbal, right, violence, that can be so detrimental. Again, which connections we're making, constructive or destructive? So Emmanuel is saying, let us be peacemakers. Let us be the one that stop the gossip mill. When someone comes and says, oh, you don't know what happened. So and so happened. And you say, where did you get that information from? Oh, because that person told me. Well, but we don't know, right? We don't know what is going on in their lives. We don't know if this is actually true, right? So we stop. We put a peaceful word when a family member is complaining or talking about someone else, and we have the opportunity to be the one to put that word to pacify their hearts. But what that calls us, friends, call us to be courageous. That is the bottom line. Let us be courageous to spread the good, because evil is there. As the mentors of the Spirit Society of Virginia and Kardec Radio always remind us, the evil spirits, they don't have anything else to do. So the whole day, that's all they do. They think about how to affect others, how to do those things that are the opposite of the good. So, what can we do instead? We can be courageous. Be courageous to spread the positive, to look at the bright side, to be peacemakers. And at the end of the day, Emmanuel says, maintain your peace of mind and feed your neighbor with your good example and your good word. The power of the written word, the spoken word, maybe the word that we don't even say it, but we think. Yes, very powerful, friends, because that can be something positive, which will elevate ourselves, will connect us with the higher spirits, or it can be just the 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 connections, right? The destructive connections. And then we'll be connected to those who don't have nothing else but to do the evil. So, a lot for us to reflect. And Jesus says, you give them something to eat. So, tonight, friends, we are being reminded, what are we giving others to eat, to nourish their souls? Are we spreading constructive things? Are we spreading the positive, right? Are we looking at the bright side? Are we being peacemakers or not? Or being we are spreading discouragement and pessimism and disorder. So let us use the precious time that we have to be courageous and, as Emmanuel says, to seek the good in everything and everyone. So, with that, friends, let us then do our final prayer so that we can finalize the treatment that we have been receiving all along. Shall we? So, let us close our eyes again if you can. Let us take a deep breath in and we raise our thoughts. Dear Master Jesus, thank you so much for bringing us this lesson of tonight. Through the examples that you gave that continue to teach us until today and to many years to come. Tonight we are reminded how important it is for us to think about the spoken word, our thoughts, our feelings, words and actions, and the connections that we are making. We pray that tonight we can keep this message close to our hearts. And the next time that we have the opportunity, we be peacemakers. We spread the good and we look at the bright side, seeking the good in everything and in everyone. Because at the end of the day, we know the good is all that is. Evil is just temporarily the absence of the good. And we pray tonight, Father, that you can, with your messengers, bring the remedies that we need, blessing our homes, our family members, and then sharing this light with our communities, with our neighbors, with our country, as we see bridges of peace connecting all the countries around the world, as our planet is surrounded by your loving light of peace, of understanding and forgiveness. Dear Master Jesus, thank you for being our guiding model, and thank you for never forsaking us until the last tear is dry on earth. We know you're gonna be by our side, and feeling your presence, we then ask you for your permission to close this prayerful moments of tonight. And so be it. Thank you, friends, for joining us tonight. We hope you feel this energy that connects all of us. Feel a big, big embrace for all of us. And we ask you to continue here connected at Kardec Radio because we're always nourishing our souls. We have programs 24/7. And tomorrow, here at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be connected again for another daily prayer. If you have any questions, just write to us at kardecradio@gmail.com. We'll see you next time, friends. Bye bye.